Hello, and welcome to Frugal for Two. This channel is all about frugal tips, tricks, and recipes. My name is Hannah, and today we're going to be making some chicken fried rice. Better than takeout any day. So today we're going to be working with white rice, 3 eggs, about 2 cups of chicken, 3 small green onions, 1 can of mixed vegetables. You can use any vegetables you like, but this is convenient for me and cheap. Some minced garlic, some soy sauce. I use the kind with less sodium, but either's fine. Sesame oil and canola or vegetable oil. I've found that I prefer vegetable oil. So let's get started. First, you're going to turn the pan on medium heat and add in 1.5 teaspoons of sesame oil. It does not take much. This is a very flavorful oil. You're also going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of vegetable oil. You're going to make sure that that's mixed together well, coating the whole pan. And you're going to let that heat up. Meanwhile, you can get your scrambled eggs ready. You're going to use 3 large eggs and prepare them as you would your normal scrambled eggs. In my case, I prefer to add some pepper, salt, and a little bit of garlic salt. I don't know how often you make scrambled eggs, but you're going to want to make sure that it is mixed well so there's no white when you cook it. Now you can see that smoke. You can tell that that pan is nice and heated up and ready to add in your chicken. I recommend using about 2 cups of chicken. I have about 1.5 here. That's what I had available, so that's what I used. Now, I prefer to use cooked chicken. I grab a rotisserie chicken and I pull it apart and freeze it so it's easily accessible for multiple recipes, but you're welcome to use raw chicken as well. It just takes a little bit longer to cook. So if you're using pre-cooked chicken, you're only going to need to cook it for about 2 minutes or so. Add some salt and pepper, and then cook it for another 1 to 2 minutes until you get some nice brown crispy sides to the chicken. Make sure you absorb all that flavorful, wonderful oil into it. And then you're going to pour that onto a plate and set it aside for later in the cooking process. Now, you do not need to wash the pan between this and the next step. You can set that chicken aside and immediately go on to the next step. Add in another 1.5 teaspoons of sesame oil and another 1.5 teaspoons of vegetable oil. The pan's already hot at this point, so there's really no need to wait for it to heat up anymore. Just make sure you mix up those oils and coat the whole pan, and then you can move on to cooking your vegetables. A really easy and cheap way to get your vegetables in this recipe is a can of mixed vegetables. usually only 50 to 75 cents depending on where you shop. And then you're going to add in your 3 small green onions. If you have a bigger green onions, then I'd recommend using 2. These were very small, so I used 3. Green onions give such a good flavor to so many things. So now you're going to mix those in there and cook all those veggies in the oil for about 2 minutes. Make sure that you're constantly moving them around so nothing burns. When you're cooking with oil, it's just really easy to turn your back for a moment and have something burnt. So now add in 1.5 teaspoons of minced garlic, and this also gives it a wonderful flavor. You're going to cook it for another 2 minutes or so, just to make sure that that flavor is distributed throughout. Keep it moving! At this point, you can start moving your vegetables to the sides. And you're going to pull out your scrambled eggs that hopefully you've had in the fridge. And you're going to cook them right in the center. You may want to turn the pan up just a little bit so those cook quickly enough that your vegetables on the sides don't start to burn. So once you've got those in the center, just spread them out, let them cook, do their thing. And eventually, you will have some nice, fluffy scrambled eggs. Do not wait until they're dry. Just wait until they're just solid enough that you can start chopping them into little pieces, and then you can mix them in. They will have plenty of time to cook all the way through because there is still a lot of mixing and adding to go in this recipe. So once they're chopped into tiny pieces, you're going to spread them throughout the vegetables, make a nice even mixture. And then add in the chicken that you had set aside earlier. Now what's not shown on camera here is I did take some time to chop this chicken into smaller pieces in the pan. And you'll see it magically get smaller here in a moment. Now your white rice. This is 3 cups of white rice that I made 3 days ago. This part is important because you want the rice to be dry enough that it's not going to make everything soggy. I wasn't patient enough one time and I put fresh rice into this recipe. It wasn't nearly as good. Everything tasted really soggy. So you can make this 3 days in advance. Just set it in the fridge, let it be, wipe any condensation off the top of the container, let it dry out. Once you've made a layer on top of everything else, you can start adding in your soy sauce. You're going to want 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. And then you're going to add in a little bit more pepper and salt. And start mixing it in. Now, when I originally saw this recipe, I was a little bit tentative about using white rice because all the chicken fried rice I'd ever seen was brown. And so I thought everyone used brown rice. What I didn't realize was the soy sauce makes the white rice turn a light brown color. So now that you have this all together and mixed well, you're going to want to do a taste test, because depending on how much you cooked your rice, it may absorb more or less of the spices, and you may have to adjust. In my case, it needed a little bit more soy sauce and a little bit of garlic salt. Once that's added in and you've made your adjustments, mix it up well and you're ready to go. This makes a lot of food, so I usually take half of it and freeze it. It freezes really well, and you have another meal. It does take a little bit of time, but in my opinion, it's worth it. This chicken fried rice is delicious, better than any takeout I've ever had, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do.
If you've watched this far into the video, I assume you liked what you saw. If so, please give a like on this video, comment below, and give me a subscribe if you haven't already, so you can see more great content just like this. This channel is all about frugal tips, tricks, and recipes, and I look forward to sharing more with you. See you next time! Bye!